What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Random Encounter Podcast, episode 161. I'm your host, James, and I am joined by the great Ace Attorney, Mr. Ash
What's up?
Destroyer.
What's up, everybody? How y'all doing?
I was going to say something else, but I was like, I can't think of another name to add on to that.
Yeah,
So
me either.
we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's just me. Bryant will be joining us a little bit later on. And for those who are watching the vertical stream, I apologize. Like Ash's head and my head is actually like cut off. Like it looks kind of funny. And that's just because I don't have a two scene. So I might set it up while I have Ash talking a little bit. But before we get into that, as always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow over on Twitch if you're watching on Twitch. There was not a lot in the news this week, so today it's gonna be a little bit fun of just us talking, and we'll see where we go from there. There's a couple of things that I do want to talk about real quick, but I'll mention that a little bit later. I do want to start though with what we have been playing because the Dragon Quest VII Reimagined demo came out, and man, I'm gonna tell you, I'm pretty excited with what we got in that demo. Honestly, if you haven't tried the demo already, you definitely, definitely should give it a try. It's available on all platforms right now. It is amazing, looks beautiful, especially on Switch 2. Like I am very surprised with what we got. And I was kind of worried a little bit because I was like, man, like Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D and Dragon Quest 3, the Switch 2 like updates it had. Well, I guess there is a Switch 2 version 1 and 2 HD 2D. I just felt like it was subpar because the Switch 2 is a lot more powerful than the Steam Deck, and you can still get better visual fidelity on the Steam Deck with 60 FPS versus on Switch 2. Like you can get 60 FPS, but then it lowers the resolution quite a lot in portable mode. In dock mode, I did notice that it does go up in resolution and looks a lot better in docked, but in portable mode, I was kind of sad with what we got. But Ash, I'm gonna have you give your thoughts while I fix this scene over here on Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. I know you played it, and I know you got a bunch of thoughts on that.
Yeah, I played it all the way through to the end of the demo, which I mean, it was kind of like an anticlimactic ending to the demo because I was like, after I kind of like pieced things together on like what this war how this world's gonna unfold. Essentially, I was like, damn, I got all these like these colorful tablets. I can go back to this shrine of mysteries and go to different islands and maybe unlock those things to like the actual main playing field and stuff. And they're saying, hey, demo's done. Carry that shit over to when the game comes out, which I'm like, and I was sweating a little bit. I'm like, damn, I'm really feeling this game right now. When is it gonna come out? So I look up the date. It was like February 4th or something like that. Which I'm like, thank God, 3 months. No, not 3 months, 3 weeks. I'm thinking about Pragmata for a minute because Capcom gave us a Pragmata demo like last month. And the game comes out in April. I'm like, brother, we're gonna forget about this game, man. Like, come on. But I really love how they did the graphics for this game. It is an extremely beautiful game, no matter what platform you're playing it on. For me, I played it on the Steam Deck myself, and when playing it at its native resolution, 800p and everything at the weird aspect ratio, I think it's like 16:10 or something like that.
Mhm.
It runs the whole thing at 90 frames per second, no drops whatsoever. And I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me try to dock this to my 4K TV and play it at 2K resolution and see what happens. James, I am not lying to you. This game was running at 45 frames per second, and it looked smooth as heck if you have FreeSync on. It was amazing. Now, I have no doubt on mine that the Switch 2 can easily surpass that with no issues. But for me, in my personal opinion, I just didn't want to get on board with the Switch 2 game keycard nonsense with it. So if I want to get this game digital, I might as well get it on a platform where I can play on multiple platforms, which is on my Steam Deck or on my PC if I wanted to. And the only way for me to get switch over to the Switch 2 is if Square Enix decides to release a Switch 2 upgrade or something like that. Because I'm willing to get the Switch 1 version, plot on my Switch 2, and pay an extra $10 to get the Switch 2 upgrade, but they're not going to do that. So I say, you know what, F it. I'm gonna play on the Steam Deck, how that looks. Looks freaking clean as day. I feel like if you're gonna play this on portable mode, I feel like the Steam Deck OLED is gonna definitely beat out the Switch 2, mainly due to the fact that the screen is OLED. Now, of course, Switch 2 is at 1080p, and it runs at 60 FPS, obviously, right?
Yeah, it says 60 FPS on Switch too.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I really wish they could have. I wish they could have further taken advantage of the panel itself and go all up to 120 because it can. I
Yeah.
know it can.
Oh, of
So
course.
like, yeah. So it's on Square Enix to like figure out some optimization stuff and everything. But yeah, overall the game looks extremely phenomenal on the Steam Deck, and I'm pretty sure it's going to look phenomenal on any other platform you play as well, if anything. So, but besides from that, the story itself was fun, simple, and everything. What I like about Dragon Quest a lot is that it makes the story as simple, but it's still in a way shrouded in mystery. You're not able to predict what's going to happen next
Mhm.
with these type of stories, which I always like. Like a good example is when we finally go to the Shrine of Mysteries. We got all the tablets. We piece things together and we unlock our first island. We teleport and we're like, whoa, where the heck we're at and stuff. We're trying to get back home to our island and everything, and everyone's like, where the hell where's that, and then once you figure out the issues, like basically taking care of the main monster of the island and stuff, you go back and then now you see the island just pop up out of nowhere and stuff, which I'm like, damn. Like, I'm trying to think, I'm like, okay, do we just go back in time to prevent like a tragedy from happening for that island to exist, or is it something else that I'm like missing? And that's the type of mystery that you have to like figure out yourself, because sometimes there are certain, even though Dragon Quest borrows certain elements from different mediums and stuff, it finds a way to craft its own unique little narrative that you have to figure out yourself throughout the game and everything. The characters that you the characters that you meet are cool too. Prince Kiefer is a bit interesting because he was when I first saw Dragon Quest VII Reimagined trailer with you and others, is that Prince Kiefer kind of threw me off guard a little bit, because the fact he had that really impressive jawline that he has, and I first thought, oh, this must be like a handsome adult character or something like that. And then I play the game. The dude's like a teenager. I'm like, a teenager with that kind of jawline? Jesus Christ! It's like, that's insane. And I'm curious. I'm also curious too, because what happened with Prince Kiefer in this game is totally different from what happened from the original storyline that like you explained and stuff. It's interesting how they're going to like kind of rewrite the story a little bit, because funny enough, I actually went back and looked at the intro of Dragon Quest and Reimagined multiple times to like piece things like what might have happened in between and stuff, and I'm curious on like what they might have changed for the reimagined game compared to what the original was. Because what it sounds like to me is that once Prince Kiefer leaves, you don't use him ever again, essentially. But with a reimagined, he actually comes back, and I wonder if because like I know they like to rewrite certain things, and I hope this is a good writing choice for it, because I'm pretty sure that was like heavily good writing on what they did with Prince Kiefer from the original so far, but who knows? So we'll find out once the game comes out on February 6th. I mean, combat still the same in most Dragon Quest games. What's interesting is the accessories that you get, especially the monster hearts and stuff. You can get like a monster heart for the slime. Like I'm pretty sure you can get like all variants of monster hearts. And what those monster hearts do is that they provide you some cool little passive along with it. So a good example is I forgot this one. I think it's called the Hammerhead Monster Heart, and I think what it does is that it randomly just gives you a critical hit chance. So of course I put that on Prince Kiefer, since he's kind of like the DPS of the party and stuff, So it's kind of cool. You can get stuff like that where you can get like surprise, kind of like a little bit of surprises, so like random passives a little bit. I don't know, but overall game looks freaking beautiful. The voice acting is superb. I love each. I love how I love Prince Kiefer's voice actor is the best to me. I love him a lot. I'm a big fan of this dude. Maribel's cool. I feel like Maribel was written to be a pain in the ass at the beginning of the game, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna grow to be like a really powerful character later on. And when I'm not talking about as stats wise, I'm talking about like personality wise in a sense. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm pretty sure she has a lot going on as well. And one thing I'm more curious about is by the end of this intro of Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, we have that guy in a robe, and the first thing that came to my mind is Gon's dad from Hunter X Hunter. It kind of gave me that vibe where he's like, hey, I'm your dad. How you doing? I
No,
feel like that guy. Yeah.
they already said who the guy in the robe is.
Oh, really? In the trailer? I guess I missed that.
No,
Okay.
no, it's from the one of the trailers. It's Prince Keeper where they show him.
Oh,
Yeah.
he didn't. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
They
Okay,
that was a big thing that was like they spoiled it. Like, why would you do that? Because
yeah, that's dumb. Okay,
yeah.
that's really why put that in the intro in the first place. But okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, but
Well, they hit it in the beginning, and then they did a how they do those little like, here's the systems like trailer or whatever, and one of the trailers was that, and they did a whole trailer on Prince Keeter, if that being him. Everybody was kind of like upset at that. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah, they should have kept that on the wraps. Honestly, it would have been a nice surprise. Honestly, with you, but honestly, the way the post looked, I'm like, bro, that's Gon's dad. I knew it. I'm like, that's what it looked like to me and stuff. But yeah, everything so far, I'm digging it. I'm gonna buy this day one because this game is gonna be for me is gonna be huge. It's when I play a Dragon Quest game, I know I'm not going to be disappointed because it's just one of those. This is one of those things where you hop into it, you know the story's going to be simple at the very beginning, and then as you journey yourself further into the story, now you're questioning, okay, this might happen or this might happen. It's unpredictable and stuff essentially. You can't really guess
Hmm.
because they like to do something original with those stories.
Hmm.
They like to borrow things from different stories and make it into their own and stuff. So, which I praise Dragon Quest for that for the most part. So, but yeah, I fully enjoyed it. Did they add any new orchestrative soundtracks for Dragon Quest, or did these reuse the same ones from the HD2D stuff?
It's the same one. It's well, it's all orchestrated now. But it's like the
Yeah,
original soundtrack, just orchestrated. But like
got it. Makes sense.
seven does have one of the better soundtracks in a Dragon Quest game. Cause like the main village, love the main village is a song. It's called Heavenly Village, and
Hmm.
it's one of my favorite tracks in the game. It plays in other villages too, but that's the main one.
Listen, it got me humming throughout the entire game. I
Yeah,
don't like the battle music, the
yeah,
Heavenly Village soundtrack. Like it got me humming throughout the whole thing. I'm like,
yeah. Even
yes, this is what I'm talking
the
about.
tower dungeon, like
Yes,
the main theme in there. Yeah, that one
even
was
that
really
one, bro.
good.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And then with the added voice dialogue with some of the characters, even with NPCs, was great too, and everything. And it adds so much more emotion and depth to the story as well, man. It was great. I love it. Everything you're doing so far is just, I love it.
Yeah.
It's amazing. With that being said, I'm gonna leave it with that. To me, this demo was like a 9 out of 10 for me. How about you, James? What do you think?
I mean, first of all, welcome, Bryant, Mr. Dress for Your Master, the Dominant.
Hello.
Loving that Gundam shirt. Amazing shirt.
Wearing it in celebration of seeing Endless Waltz and the Iron Blooded Orphans movie tomorrow.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
nice.
Because it's like the 30th anniversary of Gundam Wing, which I don't even want to think about that.
Well, far as Dragon Quest Seven Reimagine goes, like it definitely amazing. Like I said, graphically speaking, blew my mind on Switch 2. I was expecting a downgrade, and this was going to be the moment where I decide if I get it on Switch 2 first, or if I get it on my on PC on Steam. Because regardless, I'm gonna buy it twice, right? I love it. I have every Dragon Quest game on both PC and Switch if it's available on PC. So like Dragon Quest, even Dragon Quest Builders, I have it on both, which is pretty cool. But like graphically speaking, I was amazed. I don't know the resolution in dock mode. I was watching a video where they're comparing PS5 to Switch 2, and the Switch 2 is like a little bit slightly blurrier. So I'm assuming that it's 4K on PS5, and on Switch 2 maybe it's like 1440p. I don't know if it's maybe it is 4K, but it's just somehow blurry. I don't know when it comes to that. All I know is it looks crisp on my monitor here because I was playing in dock mode, and it looks amazing to me. And then of course in handheld looks amazing. Both are 60 FPS. There was no drops in frame rate or anything like that whatsoever. The blur effect I was afraid was going to be heavy because the HD 2D games utilize it heavier on the Switch 2 compared to like the PC version. but it seems like it's the exact same as what's used on console. They blur out kind of like the edges to give you that diorama feel, so it's like kind of more focused in, but it doesn't distract. Um, the character models look great. Voice acting, I agree. Like Prince Keither's voice actor, like him already. Like I was like, okay, that's cool. Keither's is a great character overall. I remember when I first played Dragon Quest Seven, which was the 3DS version, seeing him, I was like, I really don't like this character's design. Like, why would Toriyama make a character like this? Because it is very kind of like unusual for him to have a character in this design. But that being said, he is an amazing character. Like people were kind of like making fun of him as like was it the Team America or this was
Yeah.
called like the Team America guy, but
Yeah.
no,
Matt Damon.
yeah, he's nothing like that. Like he is a cool character. Maribel is that supposedly they toned her down a little bit in the reimagining because she is very annoying. She's kind of like the whiny like I'm gonna tell on you if you don't do this or whatever, like that type of person. Um can't really say if she gets better. They definitely she becomes more friendlier, right? It's less of the hagging all the time, and she becomes like, a group, and now it's like, oh, you're in this with us now, so you can't really say anything. What else? There are some things that are missing, which is kind of interesting. Like there's when you first exit the village and you go into the world map, if you move to the left, there's like a pathway, but then when you go to that path, there's like nothing there. In the 3DS version, in the original game, there's a dude who like loves animals, and he lived in that house. That house is like completely gone and not there. So I
Oh
don't
wow.
know if because the pathway is still there, which is weird, but there's no house or area you can go there. So I don't know if he'll be back. Maybe there's like a twist to it and he's gonna show up later on. But as of right now, it's not there, which is kind of interesting. Or it could be just in the demo. He's not there in the demo. They felt like it wasn't needed. I mean, who knows? The island is definitely smaller, but I don't mind that. The island was definitely bigger on the 3DS version, so it gave you like a grander scale. But it was just more emptiness because in the I guess the main world without spoilers, right? In the main world, there's no monsters really, except when you're on the boat. In the other world, that's where there's monsters. But like in the main world, I guess the island being smaller to me doesn't bother me because it's like, okay, there's no monsters. I have to run back and forth. I'd rather the map be smaller, so I'm going running back and forth. I don't like where you go to, like where Pike is, and he like says he found like the stone tablet in this cave. I like the
Yeah.
3DS design of that area better than what they have here. Like it looks pretty, right? The design is pretty overall, but I don't know why. I just like the 3DS design of that. It just looks cooler to me. No, it doesn't take away, like, it's not an important thing, right? It's just design-wise. The temple area is also smaller, which I don't know, it just seems like because the game was a lot bigger, they kinda made everything smaller, and I'm not sure it's because the art style, because they used the real life, like, dioramas of these towns to build everything, they decided to shrink everything, maybe that's why. But yeah, that's the only thing that kinda bothers me, but o outside of that stuff, like, everything's great. It is more streamlined. Another thing I don't like is the puzzles in the mine bless you,
Okay.
the puzzles in the mine, there's only 2 puzzles, and I think there's only technically 3 floors, even though it shows 5 floors, if I remember correctly. Unless, like, but the floors were so fast, and, at the end where you go to fight the one boss in the or do you fight a boss? I don't think you fight a boss. You're in the bottom of the mine, and you collect the green gem. You know
Yeah.
that area?
There's no boss in
Okay.
this one in the reimagined version.
If I remember in the 3DS version, there is a boss there, but not only that, there's also like a giant puzzle. So you have to move around like those little balls you have to connect to, and then they kind of explode. There's a giant puzzle to get to that green gem, and I always loved that puzzle because multiple times I did had to restart to try to figure it out. And I get it, like they did say they streamlined a lot of the game, so you don't have a lot of that stuff. But I thought that Dragon Quest Seven itself, the puzzle mechanic, I really liked about it. The PS1 had it a lot heavier. They took out some of those puzzles in three, but they still kept like that core mechanic. It almost seems like Reimagine is keeping some of the puzzles because there are some of those puzzle pieces that you have to do, but not a lot of them. And they made them a lot easier, and that's the other thing that's bothering me. I know it's sounding like I'm ranting about it, but Dragon Quest Seven is still amazing. Like everything about it is great. The battle system is great. They did add cool stuff. The heart feature was not in the original game, so that is something new to the reimagining, and I do like that, where they're basically accessories pieces that you can add. That is pretty cool. The enemy that you had to fight, I forgot what it is, the hammer dude. I forgot what his name
Yeah,
is.
I think his name is Hammerhead. I think.
Yeah, so he had to fight him. That's not in the original game as well. I thought that is pretty neat that they have like these harder bosses, or not bosses, these harder enemies you fight. Once you beat them, you get their hearts. That is cool stuff. So they are also adding things to balance it, and I think that's pretty awesome. The work up system. I don't think the work up system. I don't remember it being in 7 on 3DS. Like I'm almost 100% sure it was not on the 3DS version. Like now I'm kind of second guessing myself, but like I don't remember at all. So I'm gonna say it is new. It wasn't in the game because I don't remember using that. And but it is a cool concept. It's kind of similar to Pep Up in Dragon Quest 11, except that it's based on job class. So the abilities you get are based on the classes that you get. Of course, in the beginning of Dragon Quest 7, you don't have any job class. You just have the base class. It's not you don't get those classes until halfway through the game. In this case, I don't know if it's gonna be the same. Very similar to Dragon Quest 3, right? Where in Dragon Quest 3, you have a set team and you can't upgrade the vocation until about halfway through the game is where you go to what is it called? Something Abbey. Um Something Abbey, whatever. You go there and then that allows you to upgrade like your vocation and get stage and all that stuff. I'm excited. I think this is going to be amazing. I hope people who have never played Dragon Quest jump in on this game. I hope people who already played Dragon Quest jump in on this game. Yes, it sounds like they took out a bunch of stuff from regular 7, but I don't think it really hurts it. But they're also adding some cool features that I do think makes it even better than what it already is. I already said that I really like the 3DS version. Some people hated it on the length of the game. A lot of people also don't like it because they're pocket stories that come together in the overall main story, and I actually like it because each island you visit when you get those little like stone tablets has their own unique story, and they're all very very fun. They're all awesome. They are tropes, right? Like I've mentioned multiple times, there is a level that's literally the Terminator, where it's robots that take over, and you're basically fighting robots, and there's like a resistance group. They definitely borrow that from the Terminator, but that's okay. Like it is fun, it's awesome, and it's a Yuji Horí's way of telling a story. He's very good at, showcasing fantasies, showcasing like other like fictional elements that we've seen and bringing it into his way, and it's fun nonetheless. Even if some of it might be predictable, a lot of it has outcomes that you wouldn't guess. Like the ending of the first island with Bally Malloy. Were you predicting that at all, Ash? As somebody who played it for the first time?
There was a bit of predictability, especially when they show a memory between Maeve and Malloy. I think
Yeah.
that's her older brother's name. And
Yeah.
I had a feeling about that, especially when how she was talking about the village and everything. I'm
Mhm.
like, you know what? I think she might be like a co-conspirator with the monster or something like that. So I kept it in the back of my head, and when we finally got to the tower and everything, and got to the boss, she of course she walked out. I'm like, yeah, I knew it. So I'm like, yeah, that one made a bit more sense to me. But I think at the same time, this was at the beginning of the game, so of course they're going to throw you with some simple storylines a little bit, and later on, as everything like interconnects with together, you're not really going to predict what's going to happen next, you know. And I felt like it was the same way when I played, Dragon Quest 3, Dragon Quest 1 and 2. Because, like, yeah, I know what we need to do, but what was the overall truth? What's the whole point of me doing all this at the end of it? Like, what is the overall truth that I'm finding out throughout the world and stuff, you know? And it's fun too because, like, you can easily pick up bits and pieces throughout any village in Dragon Quest and stuff by just simply talking to people and everything, you know.
Yeah.
You figure out little small bits and pieces. And what's a bit more confusing for me is that in Dragon Quest 7, I'm not sure if the main characters went back in time and saved that village or something like that, because when island finally became available for like the main for like the main plane, I guess you find out that the ship was done when you follow Prince Kiefer to that one cave and everything, and you finally able to voyage to that island and stuff. And when you visit that village, it felt like that we really went forward in time with our island and stuff. You don't see Patrick, which was the kid that was trying to, save his dad and everything. You don't see the dad there, I believe. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Like, I get so from that point, I don't know if the island was like closed off somewhere or something. See that's the thing I'm talking about, because you don't even know if the island itself even exists in the first place, because the way is just resurfaced. Like, what do you mean it resurfaced for service underwater and there's people there? You would expect nobody to be there at all, you know? So it's one of those things. It's one of those questions you got to keep asking yourself. Like, okay, how is that even possible in the first place in this world of Dragon Quest? You know?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah.
definitely. I'm excited for you to play it. Brian, were you? Oh, I guess you don't like playing demos at all. But are you thinking of picking
I
up
made an
Dragon Quest 7?
exception and played the
Oh, Pragmata. That's
uh
right.
Pragmata demo, so we can talk about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Before we
I
get
played that
into
too.
that, did you
Oh, sure.
are you planning on picking up Dragon Quest 7 Reimagine?
Yeah, I already bought it already with our random encounter discount code
Oh,
on
that's
Green
right.
Man Gaming. So when that does come out, I'll get an email, and I'm sure it'll be a game I'll triple dip on, quadruple dip on, just because it's a really quality
Mhm.
HD 2D RPG. I kind of want to have it everywhere. So, but
Yeah.
I'll start on Steam, and I'll there'll be good Steam Deck game and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'll start.
Please play the demo, because they're also going to give you some bonus stuff
Oh,
if you play
there
the
is.
demo and
There's a
everything.
bonus costume you get that you only get with playing the demo.
Does it start from the beginning?
Yeah, it's the beginning of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the game. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe.
it carries over, so it's like the intro portion of the game, and
So you
then
don't have to like redo it.
correct.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the thing
Gotcha.
about Dragon Quest demos. So the first one they did was because they were pushing Dragon Quest 11 so hard, they wanted it to be a success in the West. Then when the Dragon Quest 11S demo came on Nintendo Switch 1, it was a 10-hour demo, and I was surprised. Like, really, a 10-hour demo? Like, I was already excited to play it, and man, can I tell you, like, that the 10-hour demo was amazing. I was like, you gave me 10 hours of an amazing game, and I think I had to wait like 2 months later for the game to come out, and I was kind of like sad. But in this case, I do like that Square Enix has been doing a lot. I think Octopath Traveler, they did the same thing for both 1 and 2. What's the other one? Triangle Strategy. That might be it. Well, I guess Final Fantasy 7 Remake on Switch too. You play the intro, and then after that, it carries over, and then you continue where that's at. So I do like that Square Enix is doing that. And honestly, most games or most like publishers or whatever you want to call it, companies should do that. Like, give you an intro level, which is a great demo, and then when the game comes out, you just continue from there versus having to redo everything all over again. Yeah. Go ahead and talk about Pragmata, because I have not played it. I probably should. Real quick, did you guys play it on Steam Deck or just on your PC itself?
I played it
I
on
play.
PC.
I play on PC. I never tried the Steam Deck version.
Okay.
I never tried it on Steam Deck. I might do that later on though.
Okay, because I was gonna download it on my Steam Deck right now, but if you guys haven't tried it, then we'll wait. All right, give your guys' thoughts, because I have not played it. I don't know what to expect about this.
So actually, I'll
Wait,
let
come
Brian
on, I
speak.
just came in.
Brian,
Let me-
I forgot Brian never spoke a word. I forgot. There we go. My bad, man. My bad. My bad.
Like, come on, man. Let me get a word in edgewise. Yeah. So, I really liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would, actually. I went into it. Like, I really didn't have any expectations. It's just kind of Capcom has been the golden child for who knows how long, and I'm like, this is gonna be a quality game, because every other thing Capcom has come out with has just been gold. I mean, I guess some people have some problems with Monster Hunter Wilds,
Mhm.
besides my just overall kind of not being able to get into Monster Hunter. I'm talking about like people that are really into Monster Hunter don't like
What are you
it,
talking
or
about? This is your
don't like some
favorite. It's your
aspects of it.
favorite game over in like
Yeah,
that's
man.
your
Right.
number one game.
So I downloaded it with like, oh, this will be a fun little game or whatever. And it was very different than what I thought it was going to be. The best way that I can describe it, and Nash, you can tell me if you kind of can see where I'm coming from. It kind of feels like Dead Rising and Dead Space put together. In that, like, the movement kind of feels Dead Rising-y, and like
Yeah.
the environments are shiny and kind of have like a Dead Rising kind of like tone to them, like almost like like, I don't know what you'd say, like the tone of the game in general is
Yeah.
kind of Dead Rising, like maybe a little less campy, but it definitely is in that direction. It's not. It doesn't seem to be taking itself super seriously, but it's not as jokey as Dead Rising is. But the movement feels very Dead Rising, and just the feel of it feels very Dead Rising.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because I recently was playing some Dead Rising on my Steam Deck, but before the
Oh, really? That's funny.
before the podcast, which was funny. So
Yeah, there you go. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. So so it is a third person shooter, and you have this android girl on your back, and she's kind of like a hacking arm for you. Like you're, and I wrote in our Discord, I was like, you play as a man dressed up to look like a robot, and then the other main character is a robot that's dressed up to look like a human. I think that's kind of like an interesting dichotomy. I wonder what they're trying to do with that.
Mhm.
And so she kind of acts as like your hacking piece, and she'll like really mess up enemies bad with her hacking. Now, what's interesting about this, and I had no idea about any of this. Excuse me, is that when you are fighting enemies, it's just your standard third person shooter, like where you have different guns. It looks almost very Vanquish like, if you guys ever played Vanquish before, like where you
Mm.
pick up weapons, then the ammo runs out and like the weapon gets discarded, and then you go find another one. Except like you have your main like pistol that will just recharge ammo, but all the rest of the guns you pick up in the environment, and then when the ammo is done, that's it. You just gets discarded. Where was I going with this? So when you're fighting the enemies, you hold left trigger, and you select them with left trigger, and there's this little hacking mini game that happens for every enemy that I had no idea about, where there'll be a little like 3x3 grid or 4x4 grid or something like that on the top right corner of the screen, and it's a little path that you have to get from like point A to point B, and you use the A, B, X, Y buttons to get through the path. And if you're able to get through the path and you get to the goal, you significantly hurt the enemies or you damage their armor or whatever. And then you can also pick up collectibles that if you go through these like you'll pick up these three, I don't remember what they're called, but they're three like green things or something, and then they're consumable, and then they get placed into the hacking grid. And then if you go through those gates in the hacking grid and then get to the goal, then that damages the enemy even more. It's very interesting. Like your brain is definitely working in two times, because it's like you have to watch out for the enemy coming at you and attacking you, but you also have to try to get through this little hacking mini game, and you have to shoot them and stuff like that. And very interesting. I thought maybe it would be annoying, but the hacking mini game is simple enough, at least in the beginning of the game, where it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Mhm.
I really like it a lot, actually. And there's some little platforming bits, and you're in this little mecha suit, and it can hover and do things. Then there's a little boss fight at the end, and I'm definitely picking it up the day it comes out. And I definitely suggest, James, you go through it, because it's a very quick play. It's not like Dragon Quest we're gonna be playing for 10 hours. It's literally like 15-20 minutes. I think my clear time was 20 minutes, and I was really kind of checking things out. I'm sure if I mainlined it, I could get through it in probably like 10 to 12. So yeah, I really liked it a lot. Ash, looking forward to hearing your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of the same thoughts that you have, Brian. There's some slight concerns I have, especially with the hacking
Uh-oh.
minigame. There's nothing wrong with a hacking minigame. I just hope it's not as redundant throughout the entire game. I want to have a little bit of like some mix-ups when it comes to like different ways to hack, other than just using buttons to get to the area and stuff. Because like by a certain time, you'll get used to doing that, and you're like, I gotta do this now. I gotta do this now. Same shit, different day. I'm hoping they add more hacking-like elements with the Android. I've already forgot what her name is, but I really hope they spice it up a little bit. Like add more, give it more seasoning. Like I need more, you know.
I bet they
But
will, but I think they have to have a balance between, like, I think it will get a little bit more complicated, I'm sure, but I think they have a balance between it being like crazy complicated, where it's like too much for a third person shooter, and being simple enough where you can fight at the same time while doing it.
if they can add a feature to where they can randomize the hacking to difficulty depending on what the player chooses, I think that would be awesome. Because
Okay.
if a player chooses easy, then of course all the hacking modes are going to be easy. But if they choose hard or whatever weird difficulty that Capcom looks to throw in sometimes, then they can just randomize and be like, all right, if you want to weaken this enemy, you got to go from here to there or something like that. I mean, I'm all for that. Like, I want them to get more creative with the hacking side of things, because I feel like that's mainly the bread and butter of the game for the most part. But other than that, game is extremely fun. The game runs extremely well in RE Engine, and from what I've been seeing is that RE Engine seems to do better in closed spaces when it comes to frame rate, which makes a lot of sense. The story, basic story. It's more like a father and daughter relationship. The father's a human, the daughter's an android, and they have like human-like interactions, and the guy has to teach her how to be human and stuff. I feel like that's like a more straightforward thing, which that's probably another reason why you should also play it, James, because I know you're a father as well and everything, and love to see some father son / daughter like interactions and stuff. So I think you like that a lot. Really, really wholesome moments and stuff. So. But music, if I remember, was pretty good. It was I was actually pretty catchy. Got to go back and see what they played in there and everything. But overall, movement felt nice. I mean, it was still like Brian said, it felt similar to Dead Rising 1 in my personal opinion. And yeah, the shooting mechanics was good. So straightforward and everything. I overall give the demo like a solid 8. I just wish they would have released the demo within like a month of the game coming out, because they gave us a demo last month, but bro, we gotta wait till April for the game to freaking come out.
Yeah, that's a long wait, man. I'm bummed about that.
Yeah, like luckily Square Enix was smart enough to be like, all right, we'll give you the demo, but you gotta be 3 weeks to get the game and stuff, which I'm like, awesome. At least it's still fresh in my mind. But Capcom, you got to do better next time with that, man. You could have released a demo like a month ahead, since you already know you're gonna release the game during April or something like that, unless they're willing to release the game earlier. Who knows?
Well, I think also it's weird because the demo's only available on PC. It's not available on any console.
So far,
right?
it's coming to consoles though, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. I was really surprised that it only went to PCs, because normally PCs are usually the first platform to get a demo like that typically. Yeah. And I think the first time we ever seen a Pragmata trailer, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that was from a PlayStation State of Play, I believe.
PS5
it was a long time ago, I think.
When the PS5 was first announced, that was one of the say because it was announced at the same time as Resident Evil Village.
Yeah, exactly. So you would think that Pragmata will be exclusive to PS5 for like a year or something like that, and then will come out to other platforms. But I guess certain things have changed a little bit, So if anything, I'm more curious to see if they're willing to release a demo for Switch 2, because I'm really curious on how that's going to run as well.
Yeah, I forgot it's coming to Switch 2.
Yeah, that was the announcement for the Game Awards.
Yeah, exactly. So, but overall, it holds a lot of promises. I love when Capcom finally delves into like another IP and actually trying their best on like pushing it out to like different prospects. I'm probably going to be buying this day one as well. So, but yeah.
So when I think about it, I'll mention that. So Pragmata was announced when the PS5 was announced, right? And we got to see the console on that State of Play. So we got 2 Resident Evils before we got Pragmata, because Resident Evil Village was also announced at the same time. And it's like we got Village and then Requiem. No, not even. We got 3 Resident Evils, because we got Village and then 4, right? Because 4 was after Village, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so we have Village
4
and
was
4
2023.
remake.
I think Village was 2021.
Okay, yeah. So we have Village, 4 remake, and Requiem. So technically, we're getting 3 Resident Evils before we got Pragmata, which is crazy.
Yeah, you're right. That's funny.
Yeah, all of them announced and released before Pragmata. So just I guess announced and released before Pragmata. Yeah, so that both. So yeah, that's interesting to thought. But I'll probably dive into the demo. Maybe I'll download on my ROG Ally X and give it a try on there, just in case, because I don't know if the Steam Deck will be able to handle that. Hopefully so. But we'll see. Yeah. And there was another announcement that happened while these demos were out, and that is Fire Emblem Path of Radiance is available on Nintendo Switch online, which I think is pretty awesome. Comes at a bad time for me, because you guys know I love Fire Emblem. I love Path of Radiance. And it's right in the middle of all the craziness of me trying to be Dragon Quest 1 HD 2D. And hopefully 2, which I'm going to be 2 before 7, but like while also playing the demo of 7 and all of that. So like there's a lot of games I'm playing now, and of course Requiem is soon. But we get one of the best Fire Emblem games. Honestly, if you have not played Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, I think it's a great entry point. I'm happy it's available on Nintendo Switch Online. Highly recommend it. I know Ash, you were playing it on the Steam Deck. And like honestly, I'm just glad it's available. I'll definitely replay it and rebeat it on Switch 2 eventually, because I have played it on my Steam Deck. I played it on my PC as well, because I was doing a kind of like playthrough of it, and I just stopped. But yeah, I'm happy to play it on the Switch 2. Now that leaves us with 3 games left for Nintendo Switch Online with everything they've announced. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Wario was it Wario Land 4? That's what that is, right? Or is it Wario World? The GameCube one.
Wario World.
Okay, Wario World.
Wario World, yeah.
I don't think that was in the announcement trailer, was it? Because I don't
I
remember
don't think
that.
I
so.
don't know.
I don't recall that, but I do have a couple of nitpicks though. Is that because
Mhm.
it's a bit weird because I felt like Path of Radiance kind of shadow dropped a little bit
It
because
did.
we never got like an announcement trailer for that game on their Nintendo channel, but we got one for Wario World along with all the other GameCube games that got announced for NSO, but not Path of Radiance.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, listen, I know it's a bit of a nitpick thing, but like for real, come on.
Yeah.
Really, like give Ike some love. Like, come on, like Jesus. But yeah, it's a bit of a thing. I mean, I'm glad it's available anyways, but I wish it got a bit more recognition. You know. So
Yeah, I did see a post where there's a if you go into the Nintendo News app on the Switch itself, there is a long video. It's like what 6 minutes long or something like that of a like overview of Path of Radiance, where that video is not on YouTube at all. And
mhm.
honestly, like if you're not on Twitter, then you wouldn't have seen any of the other videos that were posted because those were on the Nintendo of America channel. And then of course on the Nintendo Switch, what's the app called? Nintendo Today app. On that app, they also showed a trailer for both that and of course the announcement for the Path of Radiance soundtrack being available on Nintendo Music as well. So yeah, I agree. Like they didn't give it as much love, which is weird because Ike is very popular in the West because of well, Smash Bros, of course, right? Smash Brawl. But not only that, GameCube and the Wii version of Fire Emblem also being kind of like mainly the GameCube one being a little bit more popular compared to a lot of the other early Fire Emblem titles over there. The Wii version, which is Radiant Dawn, did not sell as good as Path of Radiance, though in my opinion, I think Radiant Dawn is better than Path of Radiance, which was available on Wii. I hope we get Radiant Dawn in the future because I think that's a game that everybody should play if you're a Fire Emblem fan. It's very long, but it's amazing. I love the story in that game as well. But anyways, check out Path of Radiance on Nintendo Switch online. Highly recommend it. Amazing Fire Emblem game. One of my favorites. Not my favorite overall, but it is definitely one of my favorites. My favorite, of course, goes to Shadows of Valentia, the game that these guys are in. Love that game. The art style. I mean, I just gotta show it off. The art style and everything, just like they just look so cool. Like the characters just look amazing. Amazing
It's like a
stuff.
storybook.
Yep. Love that artist. I forgot who the artist is for that, but I don't know. I wish Fire Emblem would go back to that art style versus what we're getting now. That's
I
just me.
want I want to know about the artists from Final Fantasy Tactics, the re-release.
Hmm.
That art looks so good. I to me it looks clean. I don't know. I
Well,
forgot
it's the
the name of
same
that
artist.
artist.
It's same original artist. He's the one who does the Final Fantasy
Did he also do Bravely Default?
14. No, he didn't do River Default. He does Final Fantasy
Okay.
14 artwork.
Oh, it makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So it's that same team. A lot of the people who did Tactics are on the same team as the Final Fantasy 14
Oh
team.
yeah, business creator. I forgot business
Yeah.
unit or something like that. I forgot.
Creative Business 3 or
Yeah.
Creative Business Unit 3, something like that.
Yep.
Close enough. Yep.
Cool.
So
Let's go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
wait, can we talk about can we talk about Metroid Prime finally? You and I.
We want to talk about? Sure, we could do it. I'm not at the
Yeah.
end. Yeah, I'm close to it.
You're close enough. Like
Yeah.
you're literally at the like you need to do like one thing and then you beat the game. So
Yeah.
at this point, I consider like I don't want to wait any longer to talk about it because I'm gonna forget about stuff if I
Yeah.
don't. So you're fresh with it. I remember enough of it. Like let's just knock it out because you're gonna finish it this week anyway.
Go ahead. Let's talk about it then. You want to give your
Okay.
thoughts on it?
Yeah, so I've been hearing a lot of different opinions on it. I mean, overall, I think it's well known that the opinions of the game are negative, with varying degrees of acceptability. Like some people are saying it's awful, some people say that it's like good enough, some people genuinely like it for whatever reason. But I am definitely in the camp of I can see there's a game buried in it if you took a shovel and you started digging very far. Um, the main problem I have with it, and there's lots of issues with it, and you could talk about your opinion on this as well, obviously, but it's not the characters. Like I think the writing for the characters is pretty lame. It's very Marvel. It's very oh gee whiz, Samus, I'm your biggest fan, and all this kind of stuff, and it's just so obnoxious and stupid, and um yeah, it's bad. So my main problem with it is the the lack of how it feels organic. The world is so discombobulated, it's so fractured, where it's literally zones. It's like 4 or 5 zones on different corners of the map, and you go to a zone and you have to do something, and then you go back to the main your main base or whatever to get an upgrade, and then you go to the other zone, and then you get this power up. Okay, I have to go back to this zone over here. And in essence, that's what Metroid Prime is in all Metroid games. Like, you're backtracking through the world and going to different biomes and stuff to use your power-ups to unlock and find new things. But the difference is, and I know this isn't a word, but I'm gonna make up a word here on the spot, is that I like the organicacy of Metroid games, where everything in Metroid Prime, it feels like you're inside of a living, breathing world. And when you go to different biomes, like, yeah, there's an elevator, but it works in a way where it literally feels like you're going to other sections of the planet, and it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel so gamey. Okay, that's like the best way I can put it. And then on top of that too, every time that you get an upgrade or something like that, you have to go back to your main base. And the fact there isn't like a quick travel option for that, where you can just press a button and go there, or you don't have Miles in the center of the desert that's there to just, like, you can just pop in there and get your stuff done. It's all just such obvious padding. And that's such another big problem. There's so much of this is padding. You're finding out for yourself that you're gonna have to get all those green crystals in order to open up the stupid flower to get through the force field thing. And then you have to collect the mech parts to build the mech to get through the force field thing. And it feels like they had the game completed, and then they realized that, oh, wait a second, this is an hour too short. Let's add in mech parts that are required to get to the next part. Let's add in green crystals you have to drive through in order to make it an hour longer of driving through green crystals. Like, it just feels so nakedly padding. It was added for padding. And like that, on top of the lack of organic feeling that you get when playing it, where it's just, you go to different corners and you come back, you go to different corner, you come back. It's like if you broke down the game into what it is at its bare structure of what a Metroid game is. That's what Metroid Prime 4 is, but that's going backwards, not forward. If you're going to progress in Metroid Prime as far as developing a game, it should feel less and less like a game. It should feel more and more like an organic world where everything is all together in one world with less loading times, and you blow up this wall and you're in the fire zone, and et cetera, et cetera. It should feel more organic, not less organic, as the series has started back in 2000. What was it, 2003 or 4 or whatever, whenever Metroid, 2002, whenever the first Metroid Prime came out. So I just don't get how it went backwards. I mean, there's all those reports out now about how it was a tortured development. Who was it originally? Bandai Namco that was developing it?
Bandai Namco.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they brought in
Retro Studios.
Retro Studios, thank you, to finish it up. And you can kind of tell where Retro Studios probably had to make doing a lot of massaging to make it even remotely acceptable. Like, I can't imagine what that game was like when Bandai Namco deemed it good enough. I bet it was just trash. Like, and it didn't live up to Nintendo's standard for what a Metroid Prime game is. And granted, this doesn't live up to my standard for what a Metroid Prime game is, but I finished it. I was like, okay, there's some parts of this I like. So I talked about the things that I critique. I'll talk about the things I liked. Using the power-ups feels good. I think it's kind of tacky that it's like, oh, you got the psychological boots, or what is it, the
Psychic boots.
the psychic boots. You got the psychic boots. You got the psychic spider ball. It's like, oh, this is all brand new stuff. This has never happened in much. It's psychic this time. It's kind of like that Simpsons episode at the very end of Malibu Stacy, where she gets there's this huge campaign against Malibu Stacy. Nobody's gonna buy Malibu Stacy anymore, and then like they have like a big new display, and she has a new hat, and all the girls want Malibu Stacy because she has the new hat in the box, and that's just kind of like what these new powers are in Metroid Prime 4, where it's like, oh, it's the psychic boots now, and it's okay, it's just a double jump. Like, what are we doing here? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game. Some of the boss battles are cool, like that one boss battle I was watching when you were streaming, where you're in the lava and you have to shoot the thing down the thing's throat. Like, that was kind of a cool. Yeah, that was a cool boss battle. That one that you were struggling with last night was also one that I struggled with. I think I got it
Yeah.
in 2 or 3 tries, but that one was tough. Also, the last boss is very tough as well. It took me a few tries to get through that. So there's some cool boss battles. However, one boss battle I didn't like, and I kind of saw you go through it, was that one where you have to fight the that like sand creature in the
Oh
the
yeah, I
desert, and you're
hated that
riding on the
one.
motorcycle. Yeah, it's so bad. That was a
Yeah.
bad boss. That feels like padding again. I mean, you do it to get a mech part, so that fits. That doesn't feel like a great boss battle when
You
all the
know, I
rest
don't
feel
know if you
pretty
saw
good.
it, but because I left, I beat it, and then I had to find the guy, and I left the sand part. Now I have to fight him, the boss, all over again.
You're kidding me.
Nope, not kidding. Because I
Oh my
decided to do
God.
something else and go back. I have to fight the boss again. I was like, great.
It's such an annoying boss. It's so stupid. Then you have to like
Yeah,
drive into it and crap. It's
yeah,
so stupid. So it looks great. There's some of the music's very good too. The biomes, a couple of them look very original and very cool. Like I like the motorcycle factory. I like how you have to build your own motorcycle. Like
yeah.
it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool and original. As opposed to just like going through the dungeon, and at the very end you find the motorcycle. Like you watch the machinery kind of putting it together, and you kind of are part of the, you're kind of like a cog in the machine. It's kind of interesting. It's not bad. Again, the characters are badly written. They're annoying. uh, I was listening to a podcast the other day that they did a few weeks ago where they're like, people are way too angry about the voice character or the side characters in the game. Why, why are people so mad about it? And the podcast name is Radio Free Nintendo, because I'm gonna I think it was Radio Free Nintendo, or it was a Player One podcast. I don't remember, but I'm gonna use one of their lines that made me laugh out loud because it was so true. So they're talking about how, and Ash, have you played Metroid Prime 4 yet? I forget.
No, he
Nope, I
hasn't.
never I
No.
never touched on it at all. So
Okay. This isn't a spoiler or anything, but they're talking about how it's very overhated, the talking characters in the game and the dialogue, and it's not a big deal, but they're like, but there is a problem with how Samus doesn't respond to anything, and she just nods. And then they said something like, it's kind of like in the old Lassie cartoons where you're like, is she in the well, boy? And then Lassie go like, yes, 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 she's in the well. It's like, yeah, she's literally like a dog, like she's just like nods. So Samus, are you saying that we have to go into the reactor, take 2 lefts, and then actually shoot the door? And she just nods. And it's like, this is so stupid. It's just, and or she shrugs, it's just, if you're gonna have a game with all these characters talking and you want to do it that way, go all the way and just make Samus talk. Like have a competent voice actress, take some time, do some good writing, make it funny, make it interesting, instead of just a shrug and a nod occasionally. It feels so not of this era in a bad way. And again, that's just one of the many problems I have with it. I'm
okay,
trying to think if there's anything else to really
can
say.
I interject a little bit with
Please.
that comment? That's funny because it makes it sound like that Samus is dumb compared to the other characters, but she's not.
Yeah, totally.
She's not.
Yeah,
Why do you
she's
have to
not.
reiterate the entire plan? Even like she's a bounty hunter. She's born to do this. She knows what she's doing. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Well,
But
in the game, to be fair, in the game, it's more like the characters are stupid and she has to like reaffirm with them. It's the other way around. It's kind of
Yeah.
like they kind of are having to reiterate the plan, so like they understand, and Samus is just like nodding
yeah.
or shaking
At
her
this
head.
point, I think she's better off just doing everything by herself. I don't
Yes,
know.
yes, and that is the fundamental thing that I'll go back to before I leave this with James to hear what his thoughts are. Is that
Okay.
Metroid in of itself, I don't care what anybody says about how it needs to evolve, it needs to change with the times, it needs to grow and have an extensive cast, it needs to have dialogue, it needs to have a grand story, like all this stuff. Like no, like that's not what Metroid is. And I mean, I hate to say that because it drives me nuts when Final Fantasy fans say that to disparage 16, because like this isn't what Final Fantasy is. But I think that there's different kinds of RPGs that can lend itself into the Final Fantasy formula. I feel like Metroid in its DNA is Metroid. I mean, they named a genre after it, Metroidvania. Like Metroid is Metroid. And what makes the game special is the isolation. What makes the game special is that you're not talking to anybody. When Metroid Fusion came out, that was the main critique of it. It was that nobody wanted to hear Samus blather on. When Metroid Other M came out, same thing. She wouldn't shut up about the child and the Metroid and all that junk. Nobody wants to hear her talk. And and Retro and Nintendo for that matter shouldn't have said, well, then let's just make everybody else talk and Samus will say nothing. Like that's the logical conclusion, right? It's like no, it's like no dialogue. Like if you want to, I'm fine with the scanning thing. Like that's cool. Like the world building and seeing all the different. In Metroid Prime One, it was cool seeing how the Chozo kind of fell apart due to the planet and the poison and Talon 4 and all that stuff. That was very interesting stuff. So I don't mind that. And then even when you go play Metroid Free Fusion now, it seems very quaint in comparison to Metroid Prime 4 as far as like this was the stuff that made people angry when Metroid Fusion came out. Like it's like nothing. Like it's like a couple paragraphs and we're on to the next thing. It's not a big deal. But in Metroid Prime 4, it's a lot more. So I don't care if people say that they're saying that Metroid Prime 4, the extended cast is overblown. It's like, no, it's not. It's annoying. It's unnecessary. If you're gonna have them be in there, have them at least be well written, have them have dialogue with Samus. You don't have either. You just have the fangirl that wants to, date Samus. I don't know. You have the gruff army guy that's out in the desert. You have to find him in the rocks and he gives you something. You have the what's another character in the game? You have like there was other, oh yeah, Miles, and he's like, oh, I'm the nerd, I'm the engineer guy that just kind of sits here and like I'll push some buttons on this light up board and I'll make your gun have ice in it. It's just, yeah. So overall, I would say for a if you're just talking straight Metroid game, like compared to all the rest, and I'm grading on the Metroid scale, 6. That's where I place it. If you're talking about just a straight up like action adventure game with just kind of putting it out there as kind of a broad game, maybe 6.5, 7. But those are my thoughts on Metroid Prime 4. Very negative on it.
I a little bit indifferent in certain aspects. Like I agree. Like I hate the desert area. Like I've mentioned multiple times on stream. I hate that world. Like it being like a hub to navigate. It's just stupid. I agree with you. Like sometimes it makes me feel like I just want to fast travel, and it's really just the setup of the world. Going back to your comments on Metroid Prime 1 or even 2, the worlds kind of interconnect. So there's
Hmm.
multiple ways to go back to a previous area. Where in here, there's only one way, and it just feels like it's so far away to get to, even with Viola, which is the
Yep.
motorcycle. So I agree with that. Like it's very annoying. It does feel like unnecessary. Metroid Prime 3 was kind of similar where the worlds were different. They weren't like interconnected, but that's because you were going from you have multiple planets you visited. So you go to your ship, go in there, you choose what planet you want to go to, and it flies you to that planet, and then you have that planet. And you would have to do some backtracking there, but it wasn't as annoying because you weren't traveling on a motorcycle for 10 minutes to get to the other side of the map for a place you had to
Yep.
go. Here it's just you're in a ship, choose your destination, bam, you land on the next planet, and you continue going. Uh, I I feel that you're a little bit harsh on the other characters. To me, they don't bother me as much. They are not the best written characters. I agree with that. Like they're definitely not the best written
The cringe.
characters. Yeah, it's just kind of like you can be like that, but like my what's his name? Is it Miles? Yeah, Miles McKenzie. I
Yeah, not Miles
still
Morales.
yeah, I still don't mind. I still don't mind him much, but I do hate, like you said, why is it I have to go to the factory place, get a chip, go back to him to do this? Like just in other games, Samus just puts it into his to her
Hmm.
arm cannon, and bam, you have a new power up. I think that's kind of stupid. Like
Yep.
I don't know. That is very annoying. Like the character can be there for other reasons, but don't make him be the one that upgrades Samus's suit. Samus never
Right.
needed
She could do
somebody
it
else to do that.
herself.
Yeah, exactly.
She's done herself for 40 years. Why does she need a guy to do it now?
100% agree. Like that was it. Like I would give the game overall a 7. Some of the worlds are kind of cool. Like I thought the wolf part was pretty interesting. You never fight the wolves again, from what it seems.
Oh, you mean in the ice zone
Yeah.
with like the hurricane or like the
Yeah,
tornado
and
or
you're like
whatever?
going on it.
Yeah, and
I was
you're
like,
supposed
oh
to
man.
lose.
Yeah, which was kind of cool
Yeah.
because I didn't know at first, but then of course, you're supposed to lose. And I'm like, okay, going back to old school like RPG days where some fights you had to lose no matter what. Where in
Right.
this case, you had to lose to that. But like that was kind of cool. The bosses, I agree, like the later bosses were cool. The volcano boss, The boss that I just fought was pretty neat. The hordes of enemy you get on that final level is kind of like
Yeah,
frustrating
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
because you shoot so slow. And it's like
Mhm.
if somebody maybe was an ex Halo dev and was like, yeah, remember the flood in
Yeah,
Halo?
this is like the library.
Yeah, exactly. Like here, we can do that same thing. But the difference is in Halo, you have like machine guns and things like that. Here, you have a
Right.
very slow shooting arm cannon that takes a while to
Mhm.
charge up, which I did not know that the green gems give you a power up for your charge cannon,
Yep.
which might, or your beam cannon, which might have helped me in my situation. But anyways,
Mhm.
that's beside the point. Um, yeah, I mean, I would say a 7. Like I
That's fine.
definitely would say it's probably the worst of the 4 Metroid Prime games. I'm not including Hunters because I really don't
Hunters.
remember much of Hunters. I would
How
like to
about Metroid
replay it.
Prime Pinball? Where do you put that one in the
That's on the list of Pokemon Pinball and all the other pinball games there. Um, but like, yeah, I would say it's the worst, but it doesn't mean that it's not playable. Like, I would still recommend playing it.
No,
I
it's
think it's
playable.
fun enough. Like it's
Yeah,
fun.
it's fine.
It'll hold you over. There are certain things that I was gonna mention. The part with the green crystal stuff, I am annoyed at that, but I was also annoyed in Metroid Prime 1 where you have to collect all the artifacts too to get to the final boss, which is also very annoying. And it really doesn't tell you you need to collect the artifacts.
That's
And
true.
that's like it seems to be a thing between those two games. 2, I don't remember that happening, and 3, that you definitely don't have to collect anything. You just go straight to the final boss, if my memory's right. But yeah, go
At
ahead.
least in 1, there isn't there some like story stuff kind of with it even a little bit with those artifacts?
Not that I remember.
Okay, because at least
Yeah.
like that makes it a little less repetitive. Because the green crystals, like just crashing through green crystals and bringing them to a
That is
flower,
true.
it's like, dude, what are we doing here?
That is true. Like my thing with the artifacts was they were hard to find. Like you had to kind of like
That's true. They were.
locate. Like I remember I had to use a guide on the remake
Yeah,
or did we did. I was like, man, I don't know what these last remaining artifacts
yeah,
are.
they're random.
Yeah. Um, but that being said, like the rest of Metro Prime 1 is better than 4 by a lot
Oh
because
yeah,
the bosses are more fun. The enemies are better. I don't like the enemies in Metro
yeah,
Prime
they're not
4.
great. Yeah,
They at the end they're cool because like they're like mutated and they're definitely tougher to fight. But I still feel like they take forever to like kill. Like that's my
yeah,
biggest thing. And where in
they're
Metroid
bullet
Prime,
sponges.
yeah, exactly. Metroid Prime, they take less shots, but they are also harder to shoot, which I think is a better balance, right? So it's like, oh, you can probably kill this enemy in like 2, 3 charge shots, but they're also you're gonna have a hard time actually hitting them. So you have to wait for the right moment. You have to do a lot of dodging and so forth. Also Metroid Prime 3 had cool enemies. Like I did like they had enemies with the shield, and you can basically
Mhm.
which there is an enemy in Metroid Prime 4 where they have a shield and you can use the whip or whatever it's called to remove the shield. That was from Metroid Prime 3 as well. Yeah, I feel like they could have done better. I hope this, even though Metro Prime 4 did sell well, I hope they don't take the negative feedback as in, oh, let's just not make Metroid Prime games anymore. No, like
Just have Retro do
I
it
think you
by
got
themselves.
something. Yeah, exactly. You got something. Go back to the roots of what it works. I also agree that like Samus doesn't need a team. We don't need like I know there's people like Geek. No offense, Geek, but I know like you want voice acting in these games. Like honestly, Metro Prime is one of those games that you really don't need that much voice acting in. You can have like the intro right in Super
Mhm.
Metroid.
I
Samus
think the
does
intro
have
would
the
be fine
dialogue. Yeah,
if she had like a narration in the beginning or whatever,
exactly.
or if like maybe she even had like a journal or a diary that you'd have like every chapter, or if you know like like you go to the new zone and she has like a paragraph she reads out loud about her experiences and like her
Yeah.
inner dialogue, like I'd be okay with that even, but this whole constant chirping, no.
Yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't bother me much when because I'm used to Dragon Quest where they talk and the main
That's an
character
RPG though,
never
man.
talks back.
You know?
Yeah, I guess it's still to me it's still the same thing. It's like in you Dragon Quest, the main character never talks. He'll nod. I mean, you actually answer for the main character majority of the time, regardless of what the answer. The answer always has to be yes, no matter what it is, except for the statue in Dragon Quest Seven Reimagined. Not to bring it back to that, but yeah, yes or no does change what you get, which is interesting because that was not in the original game. Is but yeah, Metro Prime 4, I would say 7 out of 10. It's a okay game. It's good. Like playable.
Disappointing though, you would say.
Definitely disappointed by Metroid Prime standards, right? Like
Yeah.
it could have been a lot better for sure. I hope they just don't put a hub world. Like, honestly, taking away that stupid desert area and everything that you do in that would have probably jumped it up to an 8 just by removing
Yeah,
that place.
probably.
Yeah, because
Find a
it's
way
just
to
annoying.
mesh them
Mhm.
together, and it would have been an 8 at least, probably.
Yeah. You can have, like, a rail system that takes you up top, and then you can move down to each of this areas or
Sure.
something.
Yeah, I'll
Anything
take
but
it.
that. Yeah. Yeah, that's Metro Prime
Um,
4. Hopefully, I'll finish it in this next stream. I think
you
so.
will. You absolutely will.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I can get enough green crystals.
Yeah, you will. And then just lastly, I want to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza because
Mhm.
I didn't realize that game is long. It is a long game.
It
Donkey Kong
is.
Bonanza is a long game. I didn't realize that. Now, granted, I've talked ad nauseum on here that my OCD to kind of break open everything and get all that stuff is definitely prolonging the length. And I don't want to get all the bananas, even though all it is just experience points for you to get level up your abilities. Like they have no other really use in the game beyond that. And it's like I'm not dying every other minute, so there's really no need for me to upgrade my character. Like I could probably finish the entire game and upgrade one thing, and I probably would be fine. But I just, it's very compulsive. I got to collect the bananas. I got to collect the bananas. Got to collect the fossils and stuff.
Banana.
So yeah, banana. There's a food world now, and it's cool looking. I like it. You have to throw salt at gunk to get the gunk to shrink. Very cool. I like it.
That's where you were at last time, no?
No, I just got here today.
Oh, okay.
When I last time,
You're into, like,
where was
sweets
I last
world.
time? No, that was the frozen sweets world. This is
Yeah.
I'm building hamburgers, so it's different. Banana burgers, they're called. Who'd have thought a Donkey Kong game, banana burgers. Uh, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's good. There's what I think would be a really cool mode in James. Ash, have you played Donkey Kong
Oh yeah, of course. Wait, Bonanza
Bonanza.
or oh yeah. I haven't really gotten that far in a game ever since. I think I'm on like the second plateau or what's the I don't know
layer?
how they do the second layer I think or something like that where it's like kind of quiet for the most part. I think I can't remember, but I know I'm like at the beginning and stuff. I still have the first power up for Donkey Kong still. That's it.
The first Bonanza. Okay, so
Yeah.
you know how if you let the menu go idle at the very beginning, like when you start up the game, if you let it go idle, it takes you to this like art studio thing where you can paint Donkey Kong and like chisel him and do this. It's very random and it's like kind of interesting, I guess.
Oh yeah.
But I think what would be a cool mode that they could add in a patch that would actually be really cool. Excuse me. Would be a mode where you tell the game what you want to put into the world. So you could put like glass, you could put ice, you could put mud, dirt, whatever, and like let's do 80% glass here, let's do 10% ice, and you just get put in the world and you just break shit. You have infinite bonanza and you just go break stuff, like just break everything, and you can break whatever you want. And I think that'd be very satisfying in a way, and take it and like show off the game's physics and stuff. Because that is one thing I do like about it.
So technically, Donkey Kong Bonanza Maker.
Yeah, but not quite as advanced as that. Just put in
yeah.
this amount of composite materials and let me just break stuff. Kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of these, but like there are these experiences where you can go into a room and just break stuff. Like you pay whatever and you go and you break stuff, like kind of like that. And and it's really cool in Donkey Kong Bonanza, the feeling of breaking different materials, because it feels different in the HD Rumble. Like when you break crystals, it feels different than if you go through mud, and that distinction, it's very satisfying to me in a way. The bonanzas are cool, the music's cool when you do the bonanzas. I like that a lot. I really want to get through it, but this is like the worst possible game for me to just get through, because I'm just so drawn to every other corner, like a cat with a laser pointer, where I just kind of want to look at everything and do all this stuff. And I'm sure if you mainline the game, if you literally just went from objective to A to objective B, and etc., I bet you get it done probably, I don't know, 10, 12
quicker.
hours maybe. Yeah, a heck of a lot quicker. But the game just does such a good job of like putting all this crap in the world for you to get, even if it has little to no utility and value. I mean, because the gold, you use it to get bananas, because you can grow these trees in the world, and if you have enough gold, you can get bananas from it. You can use the gold to buy maps to find bananas. You can use the gold to buy items for yourself, like balloons and sodas and whatever. You can use the gold to buy fossil maps. So the gold is very. It's not a big deal. It's not like the gold is tied to experience or anything. The bananas are tied to experience. And then there are these metals that are in the game that I've been collecting so instinctively. But again, they don't really have a purpose either unless you want to trade them for bananas. And if you trade them for bananas, you're just because I have like 2,500 of these banana medals, and if I wanted to, I could probably max out my character's stats for everything with the amount of banana medals I have. But I just kind of feel like that defeats the purpose of wanting to go into the world and get the bananas in the first place. So I feel like the economy of the game is very strange, and that I really wish they would have found a way to make the destruction in the world more worth your time as opposed to just taking advantage of me and my desire to do this. And I think a lot of people's too. And I kind of had a similar problem because in a lot of ways, I feel Mario Odyssey and Donkey Kong Bonanza are similar in some ways. Um, where I like Donkey Kong Bonanza better than Mario Odyssey because I feel like Bonanza does some stuff differently. But I just feel like they devalued the moons in Odyssey so much, and I feel like the bananas are so devalued in Donkey Kong Bonanza because they're literally in Bonanza. They're literally only tied as far as I can tell the progression, which it's it's not a make or break thing how powered up Donkey Kong is. Like it's just not. And then in Odyssey, you just get the moons to go to another world, so it literally is just tied behind getting to new worlds, which is kind of like Mario 64. But the main problem I have with it is that, um, well, I guess Mario 64 and that first floor really only has the like you have to have 3 stars to get into this world or whatever, and then like when you get past that, it doesn't have that requirement anymore. But I didn't like how there was 900 moons in Mario Odyssey. I just felt that's overkill. It's too much. They should have just focused on making 200 moons or 300 moons and have them be very specifically placed. And it's not like you trip over a rock and you get a moon. You make it more special. And that's kind of my problem with Bonanza as well. So again, I think it's overrated. I am very much more warm to it now than I was to it when it came out. I was very kind of negative towards, but now I do see some redeeming qualities about it. It's got some heart. It's really pretty looking. It's very satisfying to play in some ways. But as far as IGN's 10, as I've stated before, nonsense. It's not a 10. And I think the next time I'll talk about it will be when I finish it, and I'll just have maybe a couple sentences more to add to it. But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I haven't finished Bonanza yet. Like I'm still I was in the trying to
You
remember
told me you
the
were
ice
where I was
place.
the last time I
Yeah.
played. Yeah, so I think we were close together.
Yeah, so it's the ice and then because with the ice you got the
Did you get
ostrich power
zebra?
up and then zebra that was in the grass area, right? Yeah.
No, zebra was ice.
Oh, zebras. Oh, I'm sorry. The ostrich is in the grassy area. That looks
Yeah, I think
like a
so.
jungle kind of.
There's like poison and stuff like that
Yeah,
in the water or whatever.
correct. Yeah, so that's the place where I was at last. And then I don't remember why I just stopped playing. I can't remember what I was playing after that. I just know I stopped. But I enjoyed it. Like I was enjoying it and I do want to go back and finish it eventually. It's just like I mentioned, playing Dragon Quest, probably play through all of that, and then of course Resident Evil Requiem when that eventually comes out, and I'll continue playing that. But yeah, hopefully eventually I'll get back to it because I did enjoy it. I don't know. You said that you liked it more than Mario Odyssey. I don't know about that.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
for me, because Mario Odyssey movement is just too good. Like I love the
The
movement of
movement?
Mario Odyssey. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's just
that's not bad.
there's just something about Mario's movement in general and just any Mario game. I in 3D Mario specifically, like I just love the jumping, hopping around, wall jumping, all of that other good stuff. And then of course Odyssey adds like Cappy and like the different things you can do with that. As much as I like Donkey Kong Bonanza, I just prefer the movement and the platforming there. But they are a little bit different too between the
They're
two.
different. Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with you from a straight platforming
Hmm.
perspective. I like Mario's movement better, but that's not really what Donkey Kong is. Like there's platforming elements, but this is more
Yeah.
in destruction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's less like old school Donkey Kong, like Donkey Kong Country, which was a platformer.
Right.
Yeah. So, I guess since we're on that topic, like, Ash, did you play anything else?
Oh yeah. ever since I got done with the demo for Dragon Quest Reimagined, I was kind of getting that itch to play like another something that was like close to Dragon Quest. So I went back into Chrono Trigger, trying to at least get one of the endings and stuff. And I have to say, rule of thumb, if you don't know what you're doing in the middle of a save file, go back to that Chrono area where you see that old man, talk to him, and then he will probably give you a big hint of where to go next. But yeah,
Nice.
I've been going back to Chrono Trigger and probably trying to do some more endings and stuff, because there's so much stuff you can just unlock. I feel like this particular JRPG was like one of the best of its kind, mainly because it really showcased a simplicity of the game, but at the same time is very complex when it comes to unlocking certain things, when it comes to time travel and everything.
Yeah.
I really appreciate what it was trying to achieve, especially on a SNES game with limited resources. Shit, man. I tip my hat off to that, but other than that, that's pretty much it from my side. So
we could do an entire podcast on how ahead of its time Chrono Trigger was. Like, seriously.
Funny, I get it. Ahead of its time, Chrono Trigger. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. You're right. That's a part. But you know what I mean.
I mean, yeah, like Chrono Trigger is ahead of its time. Fun fact, a lot of people don't even realize that Yuji Horii was the main like person who penned like the whole setting and story of all of that. And goes
that
back to
again?
Dragon Quest 7. Creator of Dragon Quest, Yuji
Oh,
Horii.
okay.
Yeah, so the story was all his work. And fun fact, Dragon Quest
It was
7,
originally Dragon Quest something, right?
no, Dragon Quest 7 was originally Chrono Trigger 2 until
Uh,
they basically said no, and he's like, all right, well, I'll just turn this to a Dragon Quest game. So yeah, that's why if you play Dragon Quest 7, you'll see that it feels a little bit like Chrono Trigger in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I've already seen it like that to begin with. I'm just trying to like figure out if it's like a time travel or something else, because the way they bring that other island up to the surface didn't make any sense to me. So I'm just like, okay, is this Atlantis that I'm trying to unlock or something? I'm trying to figure that out myself. So I don't know.
Well,
But
I can't wait till you find that out, Ash. I can't wait. Definitely going to be talking more about Dragon Quest 7 when it releases.
Oh heck yeah.
For me, I guess there's really not much else. Like, I'm continuing Dragon Quest 1 HD 2D. Like, I think this past week? Yeah, this past week. I don't know if you guys saw. I was like 8 or 9 hours. I spent the whole day playing it, which is unusual because I got family and everything like that. But I spent a whole day playing this game, and man, can I tell you, back to back to back, just the stuff that it throws at you, and especially the nods it gives you to Dragon Quest 3. Even Dragon Quest 11, there was a nod to Dragon Quest 11 in there. I thought was so dope. Like, I was not expecting that. And I was like, man, this game is amazing. There's a lot of like references to the protagonist of Dragon Quest 3 and like what he did, which is pretty cool. There's like there's these little fairies you find, and the fairies, which were not in the original Dragon Quest 1 game, they're like, oh, you must be very strong because the previous or was it Erdrick had traveled with 3 other people. So you must be stronger
Dragon
than
Quest
him.
1?
Yeah, in Dragon Quest 1. Yeah, they say that.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's funny. I wonder why.
And I was laughing. I was like, yeah, because I mean, Dragon Quest 1, you're solo, so you're fighting everybody by yourself.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I like how they call that out. Like, oh yeah, Erdrick has a party. He has 4 people. It's him and 3 other people, but you're fighting the main bad guy all by yourself. There's a lot of other nods they do. Like one of them, which is kind of cool, was the backstory of the sword. They're like, oh, I heard previously the hero's sword was shattered and it had to be rebuilt all over again. And then there was something about, was it a double bladed sword? I forgot exactly what it says, but like they were giving a lot of cool callbacks that were not in the original Dragon Quest 1 game. So I do like how they're just kind of tying everything together and going back to, showcasing how everything connects. I do like that a lot. I do highly recommend playing Dragon Quest 3 now before you play Dragon Quest 1, because there's even a small cutscene where they show and kind of illustrate the hero of Dragon Quest 3. So if you've never played it, you kind of will get lost and be like, I don't understand what you're getting at. I mean, technically speaking, you can get by, but it's not going to be as satisfying, if that makes sense, because they do mention Dragon Quest 3 quite a bit. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. I'm at the end now. I finally, what's the last thing I'm doing? I'm trying to remember. I did an area that was not in the original game. How to save somebody. and I forgot what I have to do. Oh, I have to save the fairies again. So I'm going back to the fairy village. So everything that I've been doing, there's a lot of stuff that were not in the original game. Again, the original game is like 2 or 3 hours long. Like you can beat it super quick. This one is now, I think I'm 12 hours in, and I'm just now getting to the ending. So it's a lot longer compared to the original game. And the extra stuff they added doesn't feel like padding, right? Like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth felt like all that extra stuff was padding. Even 7 Remake felt like a lot of that stuff was padding. In this game, none of that feels like padding. It feels like it just flows into the story. You're not doing a side quest for no reason. There are a couple things you are doing, but it kind of ties into the overall world and how everything goes. And I do like how all of it's coming together. So pretty cool. Can't wait to finish that and go into Dragon Quest 2. I was watching a video by GVG, Good Vibes Gaming, and they were talking about, which I mentioned before, how Dragon Quest 2 used to be one of like the worst Dragon Quest games. Anybody would tell you, how do you feel about Dragon Quest 2? Everybody was kind of like it's not the best. It's definitely at the bottom tier, maybe the top 2 Dragon Quest games, I would say. Now they consider Dragon Quest 2 one of the best ones, like maybe in the top 3, like honestly, depending on the person. So I can't wait to get into Dragon Quest 2 because it kind of just takes everything you got from 11, 3, and 1 and just brings all of that into 2, which is pretty cool. So I can't wait to jump into that. Unfortunately, I probably won't finish it because when Dragon Quest 7 comes out, I definitely am going to be tied with that, and I want to finish that before Requiem comes out.
I find it interesting that Dragon Quest people didn't really like Dragon Quest 2 as much and stuff,
Mhm.
because when I recently got into Dragon Quest 2 about a couple of years ago,
Yeah, that
I
was
thought I
wasn't it your
enjoyed
first
it.
game?
No, Dragon Quest 1 was my first game. I wanted to do
Oh,
it. I wanted to do it the release order way by just playing Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3, and then 11 and
mhm.
stuff. And trying to experience how like other people experienced it when the first game got first released and everything. And I found Dragon Quest 2 to be fun, even before the HD 2D remake came out, because it was just about 3 cousins that were the descendants of the first hero of
Mhm.
Dragon Quest 1 and stuff. And I thought it was fun. In my opinion, there was a segment that I liked a bit where they were testing out certain things to where certain party member will be out for some parts of the game, or you have to go to a different area, grab the medicine, go back and heal them.
Mhm.
And I thought that was a cool segment that they did. I felt that was a bit more unique, if anything. And I thought it was fun. And on top of that, when they finally got everything together, that's when the overall map theme changes and stuff. And you have to go march and defeat the archfiend and everything. I thought that was cool as well. So I'm wondering on like what exactly made Dragon Quest 2 like the black sheep of all the other Dragon Quest games. I mean, I don't know. It's the game itself was a bit more streamlined when it comes to like classes and everything, but it was simpler that way, because they were building up to something a bit more complex, like
It
Dragon Quest 3,
was
for example. So
Yeah, it was the encounter rate. It was ridiculous. It's like every 2
oh,
steps
fair.
you're getting into a fight. And then, you technically have 2 party members because the Prince of Canuck always dies. So it's like you have it's really, you and then the Princess of Moon something? Was she from like Moon? I forgot what the
There,
name of
there
her
was
village.
there was always 2 party members.
There was 3, but it's basically
Oh, okay,
it's
yeah,
there's 3, but the Prince of Canuck was useless because he always dies. Like in one hit,
yeah,
he's dead. So it was
yeah.
always, it was always the meme that you have 2 characters in a coffin because that's really all you have. Because the
Now,
Mhm,
what I really found interesting is that in 2 now they have a fourth character you can use
correct.
now, which is interesting. Which honestly, I mean, if her inclusion makes sense for the story, then that's fine. But I think it would be just as fine with just the 3 characters in
Yeah.
there, and that's it.
Well, she's in the original too. She's just not a playable character. That's the
I know she was she was
yeah.
in the original game, but to make her a playable character, I
Mhm.
hope the writing makes sense for you. If that makes sense, I don't know.
Yeah,
Not just like a shoe in or something,
yeah, from
So
what I heard it does. Because just the way that whole part happens with the Prince of Canuck, like it makes
hmm
sense in the sense of like, okay, like when you lose the Prince of Canuck, you can have another party member because remember he gets sick in Dragon Quest 2. Spoiler. So instead of her just standing there and just waiting for you, she just joins to help you out, and then that becomes your third party member until eventually you get the Prince of Canuck back, and then now you have all 4. So that's that's where that goes. But yeah, I'm excited to jump into Dragon Quest 2 and see how much better it is because it just looks better overall. It looks like they gave that a lot more love, and they were just kind of like, I don't know. Dragon Quest 1 and then 2, I'm sure it's like this. Feels like how a remake should be, where
Yeah,
instead
I
of
agree.
changing the story, they added so much depth to the story that it just feels so much better. And this feels like this is the definitive version of the game. It is by far way superior than it is in Dragon Quest 1. I didn't agree with GVG's take on Dragon Quest 1. They said that it feels like they took away from the lonely element, but I was like, no, like you're literally the lone hero trying to save the world. And that's all it is. Like there's nobody helping you. Like the world is still very depressing because it's at a time where it just seems that there's no hope. You're basically gonna lose to the Dragon Lord, and that's it. And you're the only person who's fighting against the Dragon Lord. So like, it still has that vibe there. But yeah, I like Dragon Quest 1, and I can't wait to finish it and move on to Dragon Quest 2. After I finish the demo of Dragon Quest 7, because like I said, I'm at the end. I just gotta go back to the thing, and it's gonna give me the ending. And I'm probably gonna replay it on the Steam Deck just in case if I decide to get it on Steam Deck first. Maybe I might get that first and then wait there. One last thing before I want to at least touch on one of the main topics that I want to discuss today. Is that did you know? I did not know this. Did you know there's a physical version of the Resident Evil? What is it called? The collection that's coming to Switch 2. There's a physical version of that. That comes in a
Are
giant
you bringing that up
box.
because of the Target deal?
No, it wasn't really because of
Oh,
that.
okay.
But it's funny because
Okay.
that Target deal came up today, and I found out about that yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, where I was searching up Resident Evil. I was looking for the amiibo, the what's her name, Grace amiibo, and then that popped up. I was like, wait a minute, like I didn't know this was a thing. I thought it was just pretty cool. I just wanted to let you guys know. Did you guys know about that?
No, but what?
The Resident Evil Requiem, or Resident, what is it called? Resident Evil something. The
Go look it up.
Yeah, whatever the name is. Let me find out what it is. It's the triple how they have the triple pack for Nintendo Switch 2. They have a physical version of that. Let me see.
Really?
Yeah, let me find out
Like
what
a
the name of it is.
physical version of it?
I mean, they're game key cards, right? Because the
Oh,
games
I was about to
are
say.
yeah, the
Okay.
games are be on the thing. Was the Resident Evil Generation Pack? That's what it's called. So same
Oh,
price.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I actually remember something like that before. Yeah.
I didn't know that. Maybe they announced it and I just missed out on it. But like it comes in what looks like I don't know, what would you call it? It's like a box and it has the three games. Um excuse me, the three games with the key card in it, which I thought was pretty cool. Like it was making me think of getting it physical instead of digital. But I don't know. I'll wait and see on that one. Because I was almost set on digital, and now I'm kind of happy I didn't pre-order it. I will pre-order it eventually. All right. One last thing before I guess we finish today's podcast.
I thought we were talking about our choice console
That
according
yeah,
to the.
that's
Is that
that's
what we're gonna
exactly
talk
what we're
about?
gonna talk about. I had told Ash before it came in, it's like today's podcast is kind of talking about just whatever because there wasn't that much news. CES happened. Actually, let me touch base on a couple CES things that came out that I thought was pretty cool. The Game Sir Taco. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I did.
I think that's pretty dope. It's a mobile phone like controller where you sit your phone in between it like a taco, and then it has your normal like A, B, X, Y buttons in the D-pad. So if you want to emulate on your phone, you can use that, which I think is pretty dope. 8BitDo has their own version of that where it plugs in through USB-C and it flips around. I personally don't really like that because I feel like the USB-C port being like a failing point where if you bend it the wrong way, that's it. Like you're done. That USB-C port gets stuck in your phone and you're screwed. I think the Taco is a better version of said like thing, which I think is pretty cool. Everything else in CES I thought was kind of like, it's just AI this, AI
New
that.
glasses.
Pretty much.
Yeah, they have the glasses like Fan has. They have a newer version that's like 240 hertz. It's
Those are
teamed up
becoming
with
increasingly
Asus.
more interesting to me.
I definitely want one because it reminds me of when I was a kid. I do not remember what the name of the visor was, but there was a headset you can get, and at the end, I had a RCA output. So I would plug my PlayStation into it and play games off of it, and I'll just lay down in bed
Oh,
and play
nice.
it. The coolest thing ever. The speakers, it had like speakers that came down here on your ear so you can hear. It was just the coolest thing ever, and I was like, you know what? I loved it. The screen though probably wasn't as good as what we have today, more than likely, because I remember I had to always shut off the light to see it good. If it was too bright, you basically couldn't see anything. It was almost like a projector, where the brighter it is, the harder it is to see. But yeah, those X-Real glasses. It's X-Real, right? That's what it was. Is it?
I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah, because I know there's two brands.
The
There's a
branding is so
Virtue
bad. It's
and
like
X-Real. Yeah,
XTX343XXX757 glasses.
Wow.
yeah. They're like this one's partnership with Asus now. So it's like I think it's the Asus ROG X-Real and then whatever numbers Bryant said and made up with that. But yeah, no, the rest of the CES stuff I thought was kind of like lame because it's just like AI stuff that I'm kind of tired of seeing. Yeah. So let's go into the main topic and we'll end that here. And that is, what is everybody's console of choice now? For 2026, all new platforms. I think everything has evolved. I'll start it off with my choice real quick. And I feel like as of right now, the Switch 2 has definitely become my console of choice in 2026. A lot of games are starting to come to Switch 2, which I like. Not only that, like, even though like the Switch is not ergonomic, I bought those grips and it does feel a lot better overall. But between
What grips
that,
did you buy?
it's the what is it called? The Savage Raven grips for it. It makes it dockable. So it's this one here. There's different attachments. It's still dockable, as you can see. Like this line kind of helps it. You can still use the kickstand if you wanted to. The only downside is you can't remove the Joy Cons. You would have to take off the whole case, which is not too bad. And then of course I showed this before, but I added like this little D-pad thing to my Joy-Con, making it a lot better to play like 2D games. Even though it's still the buttons underneath, it feels better. My hand can slide back and forth. So like playing things like Street Fighter, it is a lot better using that. But I'm actually excited. I reviewed the first version of the Nitro deck. I'm excited for the Nitro deck 2 that's coming out for the Switch 2 because it does look pretty awesome. It's adjustable. They changed the ergonomics to be Steam Deck like now. So it feels like a Steam Deck in your hand. And they finally fixed the thumbstick placements, which was my biggest issue with the first Nitro deck, was the thumbstick just doesn't feel right. It felt too close and like in an awkward position. So now they're more like it feels more normal. So I'm excited for the Nitro deck too. I definitely want to pick that up. Pre-orders are available now. I don't believe it ships till June, if I remember correctly.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
So far.
it is so far, which kind of sucks. But I do like the concept of it. It's wired or Bluetooth. It has a little like USB-C adapter that you can plug it in, and then you can use it as a controller too, like directly into your Switch too, if you wanted to in wired mode or in Bluetooth, which is pretty neat as well. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that works. I will definitely be picking that up, doing a review, and depending on how I like it, we'll see if I keep it or not. I mean, honestly, when you buy it, unfortunately, it's yours. There is no refunds with them. But yeah, we'll see how I feel about that. But I think Switch
I feel like you
2,
haven't done a video in a long time.
I haven't. Don't worry, the comeback is coming soon. It's coming
Nice.
soon. So I'll be back to doing the video. I got something that's actually, oh, you can't see it on camera, but it's back there that I'll be doing a video on. That'll be coming up this week. So yeah, I'm excited to show that off and then prepare to hear more thoughts on the Switch 2. I'll have another video there. And then from there on, hopefully, I'll be streamlining and do my videos again. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been, let's see, August. August was my last video. So September, October, November, December, January. So 5 months. Yeah, almost half a year.
Long time.
Long time, but I'll be back for sure. Just like Arnold. All right. But yeah, Switch 2, I think as of right now is my main console. Depending on the Steam machine, because the rumored $900 price point, like to me, that's, or I think it was like 950. That's definitely probably a no for me if it's that 950 price point. But depending on how the Steam machine is, I might go back to like PC being my main platform just because I can play it in the living room, upstairs, everywhere, and so forth. But as of right now, yeah, Switch 2 for sure. Brian, what's been your main console of choice?
Oh man. Okay, so overall, PlayStation 5 is still my preferred place to play, but I love my Steam Deck so much, and having a portable PC between PC and Steam Deck, and how it syncs, and how the Steam Deck is so ergonomic and all
Mm-hmm.
the rest. So Steam is really starting to kind of get in there, but the thing that makes me stay a PlayStation guy is purely the trophies, and I just have such a vested amount of time in getting those trophies and stuff where I kind of want to keep growing that. Steam does have achievements, it's true, but my only problem with Steam achievements is that on the mobile app you can't see the time that they were unlocked. I don't remember if you can see the date. I want to say you can't see anything on the mobile app regarding when the time and date was you unlocked them. You just see that you unlocked them. And if you could see that level of detail, then I really would consider moving over exclusively, maybe even, or coming close to it. But overall, PlayStation 5. Um, Switch 2 is pretty much just to play Nintendo games. Like, I do have a ton of stuff on there too that if I ever do want to bring my Switch somewhere, like I have a full library, so it's pretty much just a convenience thing. But as far as where I want to play my stuff, it's PlayStation.
I'm looking right now to see if you can see that. Yeah, it doesn't really say exactly what day. It just tells you what achievements you've unlocked, but it doesn't say
Right.
when.
Right.
Yeah, and so
And
yeah,
it seems like such an easy thing to do too, you know. Maybe I'll email Gabe and I'll tell him, "Yo, just add this. Like, why
yeah,
not? Like, is it
exactly.
really that much work?"
But he's gonna be in his, was it his yacht or
His
whatever?
yacht, his super
Yeah,
yacht.
and
Super
be like,
yacht.
nah, like, you know what?
I have other things
Just
to
for
do.
you asking, we're gonna discontinue the base OLED model Steam Deck, and we'll only have the higher tier. That's it. Ash, what about you? What's your platform of choice nowadays?
Unfortunately, it's mainly still PC and stuff. I really wanted Switch 2 to be my main platform, mainly due to the fact that since I pay $450 for this machine to essentially run my games a lot higher frame rates and resolutions, and also maintain preservation, it's kind of hard to do both for this console right now. Because for me, I'm always a big thing. I'm always a person that always loves preservation, regardless of the platform, you know. Um, but when it comes to like this, like the whole game key card situation, I just want that to just. I don't want them to completely get rid of game key cards, but it makes it sound like that all the devs only option is to use use game key cards. At this point, if you're going to use game key cards, you're telling me straight in the face, hey, it's only digital only for the Switch 2 version. And what really grinds my gears a lot is that they release a Switch 1 version, but yet never release a Switch 2 upgrade and stuff. And the only way for you to get it physically is to get a game key card, which that's also dumb, you know. So it's a whole thing with the Switch 2, which I hope things get fixed, which I highly doubt due to like the resource problems due to AI and everything and stuff. So I don't know. I really hope things get a bit better with the Switch 2, because the performance on the damn console it's phenomenal and stuff. I've already seen the game run like this year modern titles with no issues and stuff, like Resident Evil Requiem, for example, right? But if we have like smaller games that are supposed to run and fit in a cartridge and stuff, and certain companies just refuse to do that, like Square Enix is all over the place for that. For a good example, I don't know why, for the heck of me, that like they will release a Switch 2 update, a free one, for Dragon Quest 3 HD2 remake, but not for 1 and 2. Like, what? Excuse me?
Makes no sense.
Yeah, and then on top of that, on the same date when they announce a update for Dragon Quest 3, they also release just a random free Switch 2 upgrade for Remake Saga Revenge of the Seventh on the Switch. You can go to a Best Buy, pick yourself up a Switch 1 copy, and get the upgrade. It is that simple. It is that easy. Why can't any company just do that? If you're afraid of the Switch 2 cartridge, just say that. Just focus on the Switch 1 version and just release a Switch 2 upgrade. Like, listen, like, I can understand that, you know, there are limitations on the cartridge and stuff. Yes, it probably has way slower IO speeds compared to other physical mediums. I get that. I can also understand that the only capacity they have right now is 64 gigabytes. But even though I say that, apparently there was a game dev announced that, hey, we're able to put their game on a cartridge because Nintendo's not offering 16 or 32s, and they had to take that down real quick because Nintendo didn't want to say anything about that, which is interesting. But let's say, for example, like the cartridge was too slow. I mean, man, I don't know, man. It's just I'm really not a big fan of GameCube cards, nor like getting anything digital for the Switch 2, because now you have to worry about storage capacity, because getting a micro express SD card at 1 terabyte is not an easy feat, unfortunately. And again, with the resource issues that we're having now, with storage is about to get worse. So it's I don't know, man. I want a Switch 2 to be like my primary console of choice, but right now it's still going to mainly be PC or the Steam Deck for me, because at least I have better options to like control my experience and so on and so forth, right? So it's just I'm just disappointed in the Switch 2 overall due to like its support for the game and for the console and stuff, but we'll see what happens in the later future, so.
Real quick, are you guys getting feedback from my microphone at all?
Yes.
What is it? What are you
Now.
hearing?
I don't know. It just sounds like rough all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was looking at that too right now.
It's okay now.
Okay, that's weird.
It's been okay the whole time. It's just like the last 20 seconds.
It's weird. I didn't hear anything at all.
No, because I was looking at my Discord thing and like it's right, like it's blinking green. I'm like, why is it doing that? I'm not even saying anything.
I wouldn't know then.
Probably something to do with the Elgato wavelength. Anyways, yeah, go back to
I don't
that.
know.
Yeah, like I mean, for me, I don't know. I'm okay with game key card. Like Final Fantasy 7 remake is a game key card, and it makes sense why, because it's 90 something gigs, right? And I believe the cartridge is 64 gigs. So like, yeah, that's not gonna fit on an actual cartridge, which makes sense. And like I told you, I believe the head of the Final Fantasy 7 remake project, I forget what his name is. He said specifically that the Switch, and Ubisoft said the same thing. That the Switch game cards are just too slow to be able to do some of the stuff that they did in those games, which is why they can't put them on a game key card. I do have a theory.
I get that. I get that. Interject. I get that. But what about games such as Dragon Quest 7 Reimagine?
Yeah. So
What
I was
about
getting
games
to
such
that.
as
I
what about
have a
games such as
theory
Sonic
with
Crossroads?
that because for whatever reason, if you go to Best Buy's website, Dragon Quest 7 Reimagine is not available for pre-order. Like you can't pre-order at all. I'm wondering if they're switching to those 16 gig cards. Maybe that's why you can't pre-order it. It's a theory. I don't know.
I hope so. I mean, oh yeah, I did mention something about 16 gig cards being a thing. I did forget about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it was a dev for, I forgot what game it was, but you're right when you mentioned that there was a dev that said it, and then like they got DMCA by Nintendo because they weren't supposed to say anything apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm wondering that because like you can't pre-order it. You can pre-order on GameStop still, but it's not available on Amazon. At least I didn't find it on Amazon. It's still available for pre-order on GameStop, and you can't pre-order it on Best Buy.
I mean, if that were the case, I'm really hoping Square Enix can like get the permission from Nintendo to announce that, hey, this is a full physical release or something.
Yeah.
Because at that point, that's messing with their sales.
Yeah.
They're willing to give us the courtesy to play their game for 5 to 6 hours, right?
Mhm.
Like Nintendo, let them freaking announce it or something if the rumors are true, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, but but I understand like the limitations of like how the card's being too slow and the capacity stuff. I understand that, but there are certain games where both those reasons don't really apply to that, right?
Yeah, I agree.
If any, like freaking like literal simpler games that can easily run even on the Switch 1. If there's already a Switch 1 game that exists in that platform, which I'm looking at Raito for that, which I'm looking at Sonic Cross Shadow Generations for that.
Yeah, that was Sega.
that could definitely be on a Switch 2 physical card at that point. And if it costs you a bit more money to release it, slap an extra $10 on it for crying out loud, so that we can get some profit. I don't care.
Yeah,
Like
Sega
I'll pay
wanted
for the
to
extras.
do HD 2D like or not HD2D. Sorry. Switch to like upgrades is kind of lame, and at least at Square Enix, it's the same thing. Like Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D. I believe there's no. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember, but I don't think there is a free upgrade on that. You have to either get the Switch 1 version or the Switch 2 version. That's it.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
thing with
Which
Dragon Quest 7
that
Reimagined. You either get the Switch 1 version
yeah.
or Switch 2 version. That is it.
I don't know what their plans are, because like they're doing one thing, but at the same time they're doing another. I'm just like confused on what approach they're trying to do this with. You know, like
Yeah, I don't get it either.
yeah.
I guess for me, none of that stuff really bothers me as much. Like I'm just like, whatever. Like Steam Deck, I do admit like the achievements things is sometimes catchy. Like playing through Dragon Quest 3 and getting all those achievements is fun. Like I said, oh yeah, I completed this. Where it doesn't make or break the experience for me, but it does. It is a kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It is kind of cool to see the little pop up. I wish
Yeah,
Nintendo
I agree.
Switch 2 had some type of achievement, especially for platinum
Oh,
coins.
imagine if they did that for like Nintendo Switch Online, like Super Mario Bros. 3, use a warp whistle and you get it. Oh my!
That'd be cool. For
I could just
for
throw away all
Nintendo
my
Switch
other
Online,
gaming stuff
yeah,
in the trash. I would just literally spend the rest of my life getting all the achievements for like Mario Brothers 3 and Mario World and Mega Man and all that
that'd be
stuff. Like
cool.
seriously.
Dude, imagine the amount of farming they can do with playtime for Donkey Kong Bonanza achievements.
Oh my
You would
God.
lose your mind.
I would. Don't even speak that into existence. Like get 20 million dirt dug up, and it's like, you know,
Dude.
That would be cool.
They won't know how to mess with you with that crap, man. I'm telling you.
But yeah, so I guess that's everybody's platform of choice. I'm curious. I might ask. We'll ask Fan when he comes back next week. What's his platform of choice to see what he's settled on. But all right, that brings us to the end of today's podcast. Yeah, it wasn't much going on this week, but thought we still had a fun podcast. And I think we kind of flowed a little bit better, just talking about like what we like and just things like that. We'll see what comes out next week. If we don't have much to talk about, then we'll probably have something else in mind. Yeah, we'll figure out what happens next week. Next week, there's a lot that can happen in 7 days, especially in
new
game
Nintendo
announcements.
Direct.
Yeah, exactly,
Coming.
right? New Nintendo Direct. I think in a couple weeks we have the Pokemon Presents because it's the anniversary for that. So I'm curious to see what they announce, because I think that's like January 20 something, if I remember correctly. What's the calendar here? Yeah, I think it's January 27th or 28th, maybe 29th, something like that, if I remember correctly. So I'm excited to see what they announced there. Probably a new Pokemon game, and I'm sure we'll get a Nintendo Direct in February. There's also a tease of like Call of Duty, apparently, is already showing up in some code. So they're probably that's why I 100% know we're gonna get a Nintendo Direct in February, and I think Call of Duty will be announced also in February for Nintendo Switch 2. There was an earlier rumor that Call of Duty was coming in Q1 for Nintendo Switch 2. So curious to see where
I think that'll be in a Direct.
Yeah, that will definitely be a huge like Direct announcement for sure. So I'm sure they'll do that. I'm excited for whatever the next Direct is, because we do know a couple things that are coming, but I feel like there's still a lot of surprises we can get when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 this year, and especially when it comes to our first party. We really don't know what's going to come for the rest of the year.
We know about Yoshi and
Mm-hmm.
Rhythm Heaven is
Yep.
coming out too this year.
Tamagotchi
What is
or
that? What else is there?
what is it called?
Tamagotchi.
Yeah, Tamagotchi
something.
Life.
Yeah.
2. That's really it, honestly.
Yeah,
that I
I'm
could
trying to think of anything else.
Because we have Mario Tennis too.
Oh,
like,
Fire Emblem.
Oh yeah, Fire Emblem. That's right. How could I forget Fire Emblem? We have Fire Emblem
I
coming
would love
soon.
to see something about that.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. Like that's gonna be amazing.
What's it called again?
Fortune's
Twisted-
Weave.
Oh, it's Fortune's
Fortune's
Weave. Okay.
Yeah.
Weave, just past tense or present?
Weave, present. Fortune's
Present,
Weave.
okay.
Yeah.
Fortune's Weave.
Yep. Be interesting to see when that comes out. So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out. And then of course State of Plays will probably be coming. We have the Xbox. There's that Xbox Direct next week, right? Or this coming week?
Fable is going to be there and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll definitely be discussing that as well to see how that goes. So yeah, we're finally gonna get into these announcements and be able to talk about more announcements and go from there. So, yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, that ends today's podcast. Appreciate everybody for joining. As always, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Follow over on Twitch if you're over there. I'll be back Friday, probably finishing up Metroid Prime 4, and then from there we'll figure out what I play after that. Brian, where can I catch you at?
I am at red_so_deep on Twitter.
Ash, where can I catch you at?
You can find me on YouTube at Astrostream.
And as always, you can catch me right here at the Random Encounter. Should have a video up this week, so definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Ash. We'll catch you guys next time.